Hello everyone, I'm Silverraptor and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Still going on with the bit of practicing for Warno by playing all the nations that are supposed to appear in Warno. This time we're going to be doing West Germany, so without further ado, let's get into a West German game. Alright, we are in the West German game and we're off. The team I'm going to be with is going to be with Partizan and Isabin S33N. We're up against Penguin Guy 235, Furstenhoff, and Infiltrator 82. My allies didn't have the highest of win weights, but I don't care. The whole point of playing the game is to have fun, and if they aren't doing well, constructive criticism. Let them know what they could do better next time, but also just have fun with it. Sometimes not having the best of allies is a bit of a challenge that is worthwhile. So, as you can see with this marker here, I'm going over here into Alpha. I'm sending over a Tiger 2 with exceptional optics, backed up by another BO-105 with a couple of Stinger missiles, just to back up the Tiger, just so I can shoot down any helicopters that might be coming over into Alpha. They do send some Heinz with the Polish Heinz with the Montnia, and it's firing its missiles, AA missiles. I don't know what it hit. Looks like a South Africa vehicle as well. They're firing against my stuff here. I think I may have lost track of them a little bit, and I think I lost my, I lost my helicopter as well. So as you can see, not the greatest start for me. As my function makers are being destroyed, I don't know what was causing me distracted at this time, but these function makers are, I assumed were pretty much dead, but nope. Cactus comes in, runs out of missiles, but the helicopters to heli rush into Delta was the biggest problem here. Cactus is moving up. Hits the Mi-24W. Manages to take that out as my motion makers are taking the last of the autocannon fire, rocket pod fire as well. Tiger kind of moves up. I think I realized that the Sokol is out of missiles, or it got shot down recently. And my motion maker is going to retreat back with his one last man. He cannot help these Pocops or Mechanists as they try to go in and secure this town. And Partizan is trying to get into this town as best he can, but Buffalo gets Commandozis backed up by lots of rocket pods. Looks like we've got two players in, and I can't really help him because he stopped my push here. But my main force I sent has actually gone around, and I'm going to go and try to secure Alpha with this Books Milan here and everything else. Cheetah D2's coming in, seeing about radar AA, and also drop bombs in target position, which it's being shot at, but he did drop the bomb and try to take out the Mi-8 KT, but unfortunately did get shot down, so that was unfortunate. They have a whole bunch of stuff here. They are pushing hard over here, whereas our ally here sent a lot of stuff here and is slowly consolidating. He could have gotten further than where he did, probably up to here to contest to set up the battle line, but Isabin was a little bit on the newer side, so I'm just going to give him a pass. So, as you can see, the South Africa group completely got destroyed here in Delta. And we're a little bit on the back foot, but I need to just consolidate defensive positions. And Partizan forgot to unload a CV in Bravo, so I don't have reinforcements directly from it yet. But I sent my two-man sniper squad to be able to see where all the helicopters are. I've got a Leopard 2A4 with some Martyrs and some more recon squads. Kanonen Jago Panzer over here. These guys have very fast rate of fire. They're good, excellent fire support, so that's why I decided to bring them in, as well as some other of my infantry stuff, as well as some Milans. They're going to be trying to keep any kind of vehicle at bay from Alpha, and it looks like we finally captured Bravo, so I do have reinforcements that are set in. Meanwhile, Isabin is doing a slow push into this town to try to go and get this. If he was in here, he'd already be firing on these mod shoots and be able to try to keep them back, so Hudo Ren and Kutai, it's going to be a close fight for against those Mott shoots at 90, assuming they don't have any support. Send my Kanonen Jago Panzer over here. One gets taken up by the ATGM, but since they're only 20 points, I really don't care. And they lost line of sight with the ATGM when they went in. So, again, just consolidating my position into Alpha. They have gotten a lot of points, spread out evenly amongst all three of them. I believe. I did a little bit of a mistake, but I didn't lose a whole lot. In the meanwhile, I've got some Milans. Manages to take out a troop transport. It's destroyed. So these guys will begin to keep the enemy at bay. They fired a couple of missiles, but lost line of sight as that happened. They're also backed up by Fuchs Milans. So I've got double the Milans, a little bit more accurate ones compared to these. But there's only a 5-point difference with the Milan F2 and the Milan F1. The big difference is the AP power, but 17 AP power will still wreck any light APCs. 2 Milan missiles. Missed a tank, which is unfortunate. Would have liked if they had hit it. Another ATGM fired at the Kanonen Yago Panzer. Double Milans actually hit and took out that T-72. No problem. Another ATGM fires and it misses. Kanonen Yago Panthers are firing over at the XA-185 KT. Another ATGM is coming, but it looks like the target it was going for died at the last second. And the Kanonen Yago Panther just basically kept the enemy busy long enough for the Milan F2 to fire the last missile and kill it, and as you can see, they have run out of missile already. I moved to looks like my injured Fallschirmjäger has gone over here onto the left side to try to hold off the enemy force here. So yeah, that's my whole defense of my screen length thanks to one guy, which he managed to scare them off. I have a Man-Caddy 6x6 coming up. It looks like the rocket pods also helped out the Fallschirmjäger 90, which I'm wisely moving back, so I'm trying to resupply with the Man-Caddy 6x6. Flak Panzer Gepard is moving up, and as you can see, I've got Jaegers here ready for ambush position with the Flak Panzer Gepard, just to hold off any enemy push that might come from Gulf straight down into Alpha. And it looks like Partisan is consolidating my position here. And it also looks like the enemy doesn't realize that this is open because they don't actually send any troops across the area here to directly attack us. So that was an advantage here. We do have Buffaloes that can hit them with an ATGM and we can respond, but this is definitely an open bit right here. But for the hard points, we have that locked down. Gepard shoots down an Alouette Recon. That's why I sent it up into the forest. And it looks like I'm trying to get it close enough to shoot at the Sokol. And it is. Shooting at the Sokol. Sokol's stunned. And shot down by the Flak Panther Gepard. 45 points, but don't underestimate it. It will definitely kill helicopters pretty quick. I'll go, of course, on the spot, turn off the radar and back it up so that it is hidden. XA-185 KT is right there, as well as I'm moving up the Kano Yag Panthers up a bit so that they can shoot any vehicles that reveal themselves. Fernspar are moving again to the corner to be able to see if enemy forces are here, as my Milan 2 have reinforced. The Fallschirmjäger got 2 extra guys. Whoopee, right? However, it looks like they are consolidating some positions over here. My Leopard 2A4 took an ATGM to the face, but only took 2 health off of it, so it's fine. Ratel 20 is shooting at the people, alerting them that we know that they're there, but it does scare them off for the time being. I lose a Martyr 2. That's not ideal. Anyways, I'm bringing up some more infantry in order to cover the position over here into the forest. An XA-180 gets taken out. It was a 35-point squad inside of it, so that was definitely a good ATGM hit there, as I'm just holding the enemy off at bay and single-handedly holding off the entire front, which we know there's a lot of stuff here in Delta, and there's potentially stuff here in Charlie. It looks like Isenban has been kind of stopped short. The Kutais and the Hudo Reds are dead, but he still has control over the town. Obviously, there's been some fighting going on here, but I don't really pay much attention throughout the game. My Tiger has rearmed with his Stingers and rocket pods, which will be needed to hold off the enemy force. And I move the Jaegers and Panzer Jaegers here to hold off any enemy that might come forward. A LN-90 NTAC is opening fire with its whatever gun that is against some Erics. As the Buffalo is also moving up with its twin machine guns. Erics are in retreat after they took some fire, as the enemy is going to bring artillery onto position, or smoking them out so that they can't see the enemy infantry as they come up. I've got a bunch of stuff in position, including some M113s using their machine guns to just basically provide extra fire support against the Panzer Jaegers and the BGS, who are going to be opening fire against the Yakari, and keeping them at bay. Again, I haven't actually gotten any CV into Alpha yet, but I have been slowly crawling. We've been slowly clawing our way back in terms of points, and me by far giving the most damage to the enemy forces. As you can see, they're doing a big push here. Panzer Grenadiers are opening up with their Panzerfaust 3s, I believe is what it is, as well as killing 2 more vehicles. Milans are getting artillery as well as in napalm as well. So this is a little hairy for them, but they can't stay out in the open. Fortunately, the fire does dissipate, so they're able to get into place, but they are shaken and not very accurate at the moment. I had to move my Fuchs and my other stuff over to the right a bit, as they definitely dropped some napalm onto my position. Milans are still getting artilleried, and they're still alive. That's good. Okay, I was getting nervous there. My Cannon and Jagdpanzers are almost out of fuel, and they're also visible, as well as my 5-point truck and my Flak Panzer Gepard, and you won't believe how long it took me to realize that this was the case. Seeing that they couldn't just walk into this town that I had a bunch of stuff prepared here, they tried to napalm the back line so that they cut off their retreat. I'm sure they were trying to aim for where they were, but somehow they missed. I don't know how you missed a targeted rocket barrage, but they did. Isabin has some cheap artillery. That's pretty fine. And I just said, probe here, get into this forest, see if you can push forward, because just sitting here waiting for the enemy is not going to do any good. I'm just giving like light instruction to Isabin as he performs his one of his earlier games. It looks like he gets too close to an anti-air machine gun and AAA, and it promptly dies. Cannon Jagdpanzers and Flak Panzer Gepards are taking ATGMs, which I quickly pull them back. Looks like Partisan moves forward with the Bocop, but realizes that there's a whole bunch of stuff here. As I have as he finally spent some CV to capture Alpha, and I'm still trying to consolidate my position, as I do want to push into Delta, but I want to make sure I have the sufficient force to do so. I moved my 5-point trucks, my M113s, up so that the Cannon Jagdpanzers can shoot at anything that gets too close to them. That was my hope. And then, of course, I also see the ATGM team that's moving over there as another barrage is coming forward. Another napalm barrage, I believe. Yep. Kills one of my Milan squads, which I quickly moved in the town so that they stay alive, and moved the Fallschirmjäger out. They're still waiting for supplies, as my Mancaddy 6x6 is there, but I forgot to move it up. As the NHGMs come forward with the against my M113s, panic them, as well as the Jaegers who have died. Seed moves up, looking for my Flak Panzer Gepards, but I am too smart for them, as my Flak Panzer Gepards are indeed turned off, and the Cactus does fire an anti-air missile at the plane. Not sure that it hit it, though. Looks like Retal 120 is opening fire with its rockets on the ATGM squad that was here. That would be great if they were able to kill it. They're artillery the last known position of the Flak Panzer, so gotta be careful on that. And as you can see, I have built a really steady, solid line, and I've been probed to push that by all the enemy forces, while at the same time I myself am going to be trying to push forward. As you can see, bring forward a bunch of M113s with Jaegers, backed up by Kanonen Jago Panzer. I've got Panzer Grenadiers on standby, Jaegers, and BGS, and I'm getting just a huge force ready to push against the enemy right here. More artillery is coming in on this position as the Milan F2, while still panicked, still tries to fire its missile at the XA-185 KT, and still manages to hit it, killing the infantry. So well done, panicked Milan 2. Moving up some recon, because I kind of realized that they're able to see my position around here, and that's when I saw that Ratel 90 killed something here. Looks like or got killed here, so I realized that they had enemy forces here. But right now my focus is on here, see if I can push forward with all my Jaegers and the mortars that's being backed up by Partisan. As we're beginning to push forward, the eyes on the prize is kill out the Yakari and the Eriks as well as we can. Just load all the machine guns, stun them, as it's being backed up by Partisan and the LN90. Now, I don't go all in. I leave these guys back in case something goes wrong, because I figured that they had a lot more stuff, and I wanted to keep these guys in reserve, ready to move in if we needed, if it looked like we were able to break through. So far, it kind of looks like we're about to break through. The Jaegers are getting stunned, however, as the 185 KT with its frag grenades is basically wreaking havoc on my forces. And it looks like it's getting really close, just barely about to break through, but the KT is still alive, and I'm trying to get the RPGs forward to try to take it out. They keep missing, unfortunately, and then ultimately it finally goes down. But it looks like this force isn't going to be sufficient to be able to continue pushing forward. The Yakari are still there, the Panzer Yakari are still there, my Jaegers are all panicked, and I have to fall back as an Mi-AT KT is moving up, and I have to prepare a Fliegerfaust 2 in case it moves a little bit forward. Part of them tries to move with this Bocop group, but they're panicked as well, as there are Formosa that immediately tells me I got to get out. My Fliegerfaust 2 does take out the KT as I'm retreating my Jaegers back, trying to lead the Formosa into vehicle position and try to save as many of these Jaegers as I possibly can. But unfortunately, Formosa being elite do have 30 km/h speed, which can outrun these Jaegers really fast, as the Mi-8ATs wisely remember that there's a Fliegerfaust there, and they're trying to go on the run. Panzer Grenadiers have to hold up and try to fire at the Formosa, trying to keep them at range so that they can't use their frag grenade launchers. And they're actually doing pretty well, but they finally then redirect their frag grenades into the Panzer Grenadiers, and they're able to do quite a bit of damage to them. One of them does go down, fortunately, as a Martyr 2 is trying to hold off XA-185K KRK from moving forward, but it looks like some ATGMs does take that out. Leopard 2A4 turns and fires at the ATGMs, which are right here. They missed the Leopard 2A4 as I do retreat it back. Trying to micromanage this a little bit forward, back and forward to try to kill the ATGMs, but unfortunately lose line of sight on it. And it fires over on here. The Formosa are still engaging with the Panzer Grenadiers. Partisan accidentally mismicros his cargo and moves it forward. As I have some Martyr 2s with Panzer Grenadiers moving up. I'm hoping that the Martyr 2s with their 7 front armor could at least survive a little bit longer against any enemy infantry forces. Take out the Jaeger and are going to go right through the napalm itself to go after the Formosa, which frag grenades do nothing against that. Looks like one of our planes went down. A South African plane did indeed go down, as napalm is going to be brought down against my defending forces here, as well as my supply truck also caught in fire. So I have to reorganize, while also Partisan is backing up with Parabats. I don't think I've seen these guys really. And Bocop's trying to continue my push forward with the Panzer Grenadiers. The Martyr 2s are also going to be moving forward, trying to take out the Mi-8T KT, as well as the 2 ATGM infantry squads that I know are here. Wait for them to fire. What they did fire took out one of my Martyr 2s, but it's fine because the other one quickly gets on target. Firing against the other one too, and does take it out. And I'm moving up to try to take out the Mi-8T KT. But then I think I realized that that there was like some more infantry or more potential danger, so I moved back, as it looks like my enemy forces my allies are continuing to move forward. The Jaegers that right here actually join in, trying to take out the enemy force, as Partisan backs me up with a Cactus to take out the KT, as more mortars kind of move up. And it looks like we're getting ready to push. I'm waiting for the Bocop to catch up before my Panzer Grenadiers move up. Panzer Yakari 90s with X85 KTs are here, as some Erics show up right into my Panzer Grenadiers, which my Panzer Grenadiers said, ooh, yum yum, and begin firing back with all the German sausage that they could possibly deliver. Now the enemy is doing a little bit of the counterattack. The Bocop and the Parabats are trying to hold them off. They do have the light machine guns off so that they can instantly target the XA-185 KTs. Do take that out as the Panzer Grenadiers are holding on the enemy position. I know the enemy was going to do a massive push, so I have the Martyr 2 trying to hold off the enemy forces here. I kind of move it up a little bit too far forward, so I quickly move that back. As my Panzer Grenadiers try to hold off the enemy force, I do forget about the Jaegers a bit, but I am moving up the Kanonen Jag Panzers forward over here onto the left, and at the same time, it looks like a bunch of enemy infantry stuff right here, as Partisan has to fall back. We're continuing to move. We do seem to come out winning that engagement, so we're going to continue moving up a bit further. I'm moving my Kanonen Jago Panzer to the left a bit, so they have a firing line down this road, as well as possibly ambushing the Erics. I'll probably lose 1 or 2 to the Erics, but they do have a fast fire rate. I was hoping I'd be able to kill them if they were to be revealed. Ratel 20 are moving up, but they did close a lot of this and fire, so we can't move up as quickly as we would like. Martyr 2 is also moving up to be able to fire back at the Yakari, as the Bocop are completely surrounded here over onto the right-hand side, so we need to be careful and worry about that. So it looks like things are stabilizing. They're bringing in more Kanonen Jag Panzers. My man Caddy is repairing the Panzer Grenadiers. My Kyler managed to kill, looks like, a AA vehicle, as Martyr 2 is bringing up more Panzer Grenadiers, as it runs into a bunch of XA-185s with their frag grenades. The enemy's using the frag grenades with excellent effect. We're unable to kill all the vehicles before the infantry die, but the Kyler should be able to take them out. I just have to make sure we kill all the enemy infantry, but I lose the Kyler. So that was definitely an unfortunate turn of events. But the Panzer Grenadiers should be able to hold off against the Eric's, especially backed up by more Panzer Grenadiers and the Martyr 2. But as you can see, the enemy's throwing everything they got. And it's not just one person. There's been multiple people who've been pushing us back. And I kind of realized that there's a whole lot of stuff here, and I need to kind of fall back. The Panzer Grenadiers are going to die, so I just push them into the forest, into a defensive position to do as much damage as I possibly can, while the Kanonen Yago Panzers, which I'm down to 2 left, are now in retreat. Panzer Grenadiers fire RPG, misses, so they're going to die to the X-85 KT with its autocannon. As all of our infantry forces are taken out, the Volkov are kind of revealed out in the open, unfortunately, and they are panicked. Partisans going to try to move them forward a bit, but now just kind of reconsolidate our forces. The Jaegers, who I didn't send in initially, luckily I didn't, are going to be moving back into the town here and try to reinforce the solid fighting line. Ratel 20, backed up by my Kanonen Yago Panzers, destroy whatever the KT that was there. Volkov are going to try to have a final stand, but they still have their Breds off, which means they have half their firepower to be able to raid against the enemy forces. But they do kill another vehicle. Looks like it was another KT. So they are keeping the enemy forces at bay as my Milan, again, try to fire at the XA-180s, but they missed this time. But they have been resupplied up. Fallschirmjägers are also resupplied up and in reserve, ready to hold off the enemy force. And as you can see, I've just been constantly probing and skirmishing with the enemy. The Bokops have revealed these Racket Yakari, which the Kanonen Yago Panzer are able to help them out. I really have newfound appreciation for these guys with such fast fire rate and 3 HE power. They're just so powerful to be able to just provide continuous fire support at long range. Another napalm strike is going to come into my town, but my troops are resilient. Milan 2 does have to move out of the town, and I'm hoping that they aren't shot at anytime soon, as I bring in some more Martyr 2s with Panzer Grenadier 90s to be able to try to reinforce this position again. Artillery is landing on the Ratel 120, so he has to be mindful of that so he doesn't lose his Ratel. But he's definitely been using these to good effect, dropping a lot of their mortars, and looks like they're taking quite a bit of damage. I suspect they probably will die. So I'm bringing some more Kanonen Yago Panzer, which you can spam these guys around everywhere, and due to how cheap they are. Oh, the Ratel 20s are moving, and they're wheeled, so they're able to quickly get out of the way in time. That is excellent as the Kanonen Yago Panzers fall back. Isabin is not doing a whole lot of damage or killing stuff, and he has lost the town, so he's been slowly being pushed back. Gnanion Chikichis are not in the best position, probably better here into the forest, maybe one here into the forest here. But again, he's a newer player. I'm going to give him some slack for, unable to do everything possible, and missing that this ninja's being shot at when he has kind of like a narrow front when that happened. Ninja goes down. That's tragic. So over here, again, napalm. Milan 2 has to pull back. I don't want him firing his missiles while he's panicked. Panzer Grenadiers and Jaeger are in position. Fallschirmjäger are again in reserve. I've got the Martyr 2s, and I still have the Panzer Grenadiers in the Martyr 2. I have no need to unload them right now. Partisan makes another attack again, kills a vehicle, and is engaging Kartin Yakari and Eric's all by themselves. It doesn't seem like they're going to be doing very much against them. Even though they are shock trained, I don't think that they have the weapons that are really beneficial. But they do reveal where the enemy forces, and they're bringing the mortars right down on top of their face of the enemy. Panzer Grenadiers are firing at the enemy as they move over. Panzer Yakari 90s are kind of caught between Bokop 90s and the Panzer Grenadiers. But the Bokops are just running. They're not stopping for their Bren machine guns. So the Panzer Yakari, only one of them actually die. Finally, the Volkov do stop and engage the enemy, but with these other reinforcements, they're not going to be long as I move some Panzer Grenadier 90s up as well. Again, they're covered by the Martyr 2s, which I'm sending up, and the Kanonen Yago Panzers are going to shoot at anything that come onto this side of the forest quickly, as they're bringing more artillery and more napalm down on my forces. I'm in such a wall that they're literally trying to burn my wall away as best as they possibly can. And finally, I knew that there was a bunch of stuff here, so I decided to do a special operation. I thought they were going to try to flank around. I have a Milan here that dropped off a Fallschirmjäger 90 squad. And so they're going to move up and try to take out any enemy forces, like a sweep all the way through to see what they have and how far they are. And I was kind of surprised I got this far without meaning anything. With all this napalm, I have to bring up another man caddy 6x6, and I recaptured a Samuel, which is South Africa. The enemy captured this, and I recaptured it back. My Cannon and the Egg Panzers, forgotten out here in the open, are taking some fire, it looks like, by some ATGM, so they are not long for this world. Para-Pathfinders move up with their frag grenades and are going to engage against the Yakari, as more artillery is coming down on the mortars, which unfortunately did die. Fallschirmjäger 90s found the Raniko Yakari and do manage to take them out, and I continue pushing them forward. They do have quite a very high rate of fire. They are 35-point infantry for a reason. As Panzer Grenadier 90s are trying to hold off the enemy forces, Martyr 2 has to go and back up in reserve because of the sheer amount of forces the enemy have. Panzer Grenadiers do take out a KT. They are going to die pretty quickly. I didn't expect them to have quite this much stuff. So I'm going to try to have my Panzer Grenadiers retreat, but the Martyr 2 definitely has to go into retreat because I don't want to lose it here when it's unnecessary in this position. Panzer Grenadiers are trying to shoot and fire as they run back, being backed up by the Panzer Grenadier 90s. I'm trying to bring the enemy into my firing line that I've kept all this time. I sent my 5-point trucks to see, as a scout, to see what was here, and the Erics revealed that they were here, so my Fallschirmjäger have a new target. I am every bit confident that my Fallschirmjägers can take them out because they've got two types of machine guns, an assault rifle and a machine gun, and the Erics only have their assault rifles, so the Fallschirmjägers definitely have the advantage. More artillery and more napalm as they continue to try to burn my defensive line away. Actually succeeded to dislodge quite a bit of my infantry and my Panzer Grenadiers have to actually leave the town. So they are definitely preparing to gear up for a push. I am well aware of that as I have more of my infantry here, more of the supply. Just got to get everything into position. Fallschirmjägers take out a vehicle here, 5 points. Just a particular regular topaz. As the enemy force is moving forward, Panzer Grenadiers have to force to move up into the enemy fire. Fire their ATG, their RPG, manage to take out the vehicle. That's all I could really ask them for. They're probably definitely going to die. MG3s with the M113s, and I'm just trying to lay as much fire as possible to try to make this as much meat grindery as I possibly can against Penguin guy. So first off was the guy who was able to hold off our push, and Penguin guy's the one who's backing up with his push right here. This has really been a two-man fight that we've been constantly putting against. With some constant artillery, constant napalm. I'm spending all the points possible to just try to keep this entire line, to keep the enemy from pushing back here, and then slowly try to push our way into Delta. But it's just been a constant slog of back and forth fighting over this forest. Artillery's coming in from the Rhino, which is also immediately being counter-batteried, so he has to be on the lookout for that. They're smoking out here, which tells me that they are planning to immediately put stuff into our town. Partisans moving up some parabats here, try to hold off the enemy force as I have the Jaegers in the background. And I have my Fallschirmjägers still in reserve, ready to move. As the Fallschirmjägers do manage to kill the Ericos, and now they are engaging against some CIS squads, which have revealed for the Partisan engaged with his Rettel 20s and Caspier K cars, as the Sissy squad is no more spotting for the enemy. And my Fallschirmjägers are kind of hurt, and they run into another Eric squad. Now I know this is kind of the end for them, so that is unfortunate. So I know they still have some stuff, but that Fallschirmjäger 90 squad definitely cleared out a whole bunch of stuff and revealed just what we have left here into the town. Another KT comes forward and kills the Rettel 20s. Casper K car is moving across as the Pathfinder is trying to hurry forward and is engaging with his light machine gun against the Eric forces, but I already have another Milan squad to unload the Fallschirmjäger 90s. Moving on forward. So, this has just been a solid West German defensive response backed up by South Africa. South Africa doesn't have the most staying power. It works better with flanking, but he wasn't able to pull off any actual flanking. Isa obviously is not doing a whole lot well. The Infiltrator, the guys against, has a lot of points against him, as Isa hasn't done a whole lot in return, but he's still holding his line. He hasn't gave up this forest at all or let the enemy come forward. The Nanyon Chikichi is a little too far forward. Think he's I just don't think he quite understands the mechanics of how tanks work and everything. I move my Potion Maker 90 across. It's being hit, but the Milan fires its ATGM and manages to take him out. It does get the veteran seat from the Potion Maker 90, so it is a veteran, and was able to get that Milan on target and take it out as more napalm lands on my forces. I have reinforced with Potion Jaeger 90s and Jaegers. As another barrage of napalm also comes, they really are trying to burn this town down. So it's a good thing that s'mores are being made at the enemy's expense. I have supplies. The man caddy's ready to resupply the enemy force. We have a Sierra 30 coming forward, trying to find a vehicle as my Gepards immediately open up. It's spotted. So Seed was what Seed also spotted, but it looks like I did manage to shoot it down with the Flak Panther Gepard, as the Milans are opening fire against the KT. These are, again, the same Milans that unloaded some more Potion Jaeger 90s. ATGMs are moving forward and missing, but that's typical. So my Milan 2 is engaging against the T-55. Looks like a Milan F1 does hit the T-55 square on, and the other one does as well. So the enemy force, again, is repelled by the ATGMs and the stalwart defense that I have. My radar AA is off, so the Seed wisely does retreat. Now more XA-85 KTs are moving forward, getting taken out by the Milan F2 ATGMs, but the Milan 2s are getting napalm. Jeez, it's just a lot of tripping over a lot of my words. I don't know why. KT almost gets away, but gets hit in the rear at the last second by the Milan 2, who managed to keep calm long enough to be able to do so. But they get taken out by the artillery finally, as my folks caught in the napalm fire one more Milan F1 and take it out. So these Milans have basically been saving our butt, killing all the vehicles and forcing the enemy to have to move forward slowly. It drops smoke, but I don't have any ATGMs here, so the smoke is redundant. Milan tried to fire, but does get taken out by a Maliuka from the Scott 2 AM. Kamantozi are moving forward, but BGS and Jaegers are going to try to hold out against the Kamantozi, but they are being backed up by vehicles as well. And with all this smoke, there's nothing I can do to support this Jaeger squad as they try to hold off the Kamantozi. Fortunately, they have MG3s. They does give off quite a high rate of fire, even if they're not the most accurate at this point. But I move up my Leopard 2A4. It's going to provide support. Smoke actually landed on top of the Leopard just in time from there. That made it lose line of sight with the Maliuka, allowing it to reacquire the Scott 2AM, so I don't have to worry about the Maliuka missile. It's going to, again, provide fire support for my Jaegers, but it looks like, again, I'm going to be losing my position here. The enemy is just too much coming forward, as another napalm barrage is coming forward on top of all of our forces here in infantry tab. I don't know what happened to my Fallschirm Jaegers. Su-22 M4P comes forward, but my Gepard is opening up, but it's not quite accurate enough to kill that force, as I lose my Leopard 2A4 to a Sierra 30. T-55s opening fire against the Fallschirm Jaegers, who are trying to run across quickly. These would definitely make it. These guys, unfortunately, are taking fire, but if they can reveal where the tank is, I'm moving the Milans forward to be able to reveal the T-55s. Fallschirm Jaegers kind of adjust a little bit, but I still cannot reveal where that tank is. It only reveals itself for a moment when it fires the BGS to do a little bit of the last stand, as the enemy is finally consolidating enough of their position to shoot forward. T-55 readjustment took out my vehicle, but this Fallschirm Jaeger does move forward, and with 24 AP power, that T-55 will not be long as soon as I can get line of sight on them. Milans are going to open up, but again, lose line of sight last second, which is quite annoying. As again, another burn through the town is also burning through the infantry that I had in this position. I've been spending all my points literally on defense and trying to hold off the position from two enemies constantly probing against my site. Fallschirm Jaeger, side shot with the help of the Oliphant. The Oliphant actually took a big hit in the front, so it's kind of damaged, needs to fall back, but the Fallschirm Jaeger 90, killing that T-55, allows us to be able to move forward and try to counterattack the enemy forward. As you can see, I've been doing really well in terms of points, just keeping the enemy far back, but the enemy has definitely been getting a lot of points, especially Infiltrator against Isabun here. It looks like there's another big push coming against the enemy force. Constant artillery barrage and smoke grenades, smoke shells coming down, as it looks like Infiltrator is making another big push against Isabun. He needs to kind of move his loss closer so he can be able to take out the vehicles. The moth shoots are moving forward, so he's a little bit of trouble, but I can't really help him because I've got all the trouble I have over here that I've been trying to hold off the enemy force. And the constant napalm has definitely kept us pinned down. We cannot advance under that napalm because our infantry are too damaged, too panicked, to really be any efficient. Mancaddy is trying to repair this Jaeger squad, reman them up to full strength, as we have our Parabats still in position to hold off the enemy force. Fallschirmjägers are moving up and sweeping, taking out an anti-air unit right here. I did lose a Mancaddy due to artillery, so that was annoying, to say the least. Oliphant's able to provide fire support on the Yakari, as the Feldspar do reveal where they are, but the Feldspar aren't going to be long because they are only one-man squad. They have a sniper rifle and a submachine gun. And they're a good thing they can actually dual wield both of them, so they're going to try to hold off the enemy force. And they actually do keep it long enough for the Leopard 284 to kill off the Yakari as they were moving forward. Panzer Yakari are moving forward. The Parabats do actually do a thing and hold them off with their forces. T-72S moves up. And I don't have any heavy tank in position or any Milan 2s to be able to take that out. Fallschirmjäger 90s have wrecked all of this, so we've been able to kind of push the enemy force. And I'm doing another bit of a sweep, maybe thinking I could go into the forest. I didn't actually look at the time at any time. It just ended suddenly. I'm like, oh. I was just so wrapped up into this game. Avia 28 is here. Unfortunately, there's not so much I can do to stop that. The Su-22 M4P is waiting for radar AA to be turned on. Cactus fires, hits the Su-22, does get taken down. Looks like I had a Fliegerfaust in position that shot it down. And the bomb does hit, does quite a bit of damage, but all of our infantry, while shaken, are still alive. As a Buffalo squad moves up and is hitting a Wilk. And given that it took only one damage, it didn't do very much damage at all. Leopard 2A1 does hit it, and it's down to 1 HP left. Leopard 2A1 fires, does take out the 120-point tank with a 100-point tank as well. But it is pretty deadly hurt as the Buffalo fires and is scaring off the T-72. Peace Rhine moves forward. I think it was for the other T-72 that I brought that in. Fortunately, their AA is a little too strong, so I do lose that. But one of the missiles do hit the T-72S, so it did die. Looks like they brought in 2 anti-air support vehicles, so they're definitely ready for any planes that we might have sent forward. But fortunately, that was the only plane that I had bought recently, and that was mainly for a heavy tank, which I didn't need after all. I managed to secure that. Again, it looks like they're going to get ready for another big push. Looks like the Fallschirmjäger 90 that I hold here, the Mechanist, looks like he killed some more vehicles here, so we're trying to hold off the enemy force. Enemy's doing one last push with the 2 minutes left on the clock, as I just continually to hold out against the enemy force. Again, I wasn't looking at the clock, I was just trying to get some breathing room so I'll be able to finally push out, as I've just been throwing everything I can to try to keep this. And here's the big push coming across. Fallschirmjäger 90 manages to kill the, I think, the grenade launcher, as more smoke grenades happen to cover my Kanonen Jagdpanzer and the Marder 2. Instantly, I'm going to move them over to the left to see if they have a better line of sight. Looks like my partisan accidentally sent another Samuel 50 to be captured by the enemy, mismicroing where his vehicles were to be going. As the Buffalo 85 fired their last Milan missile and miss. Unfortunate. Parabats going to hold off against the Karting-Yakari as best they could, as my vehicles have moved over here in position, ready to shoot any enemy forces that might reveal themselves due to the sheer amount of smoke grenade that's going on. So it's just been a constant back and forth, constant defending with West Germany. But I believe I held out pretty strong defense. I don't remember my losses, so we'll definitely take a look into that. As it looks as Isabun is actually completely collapsing over onto his side of the map. Infiltrator has a whole bunch of points against him. I think that was the majority of where the enemy was getting their points, but otherwise over here, pretty even actually. Oliphant is helping back up the Mechanist. This is actually pretty nice for 40 points. 9 front armor. It would be better if it had 4 AG, but for what South Africa gets, it's probably alright. Sissy is constantly being bombarded by that as Partisan is moving forward. My Fallschirmjäger Knight is also moving up to see how far we can get on this bit. Fallschirmjäger 90 are moving up to try to hold off against the enemy Sissy squad as they're moving up. They get gunned by some well-placed mortars. Fallschirmjägers are starting to collapse, but if we do kill one of the Sissy squads, but unfortunately my Fallschirmjäger just finally died as the game finally ends. So, that was it. About 300-point difference for me. Definitely holding my own. Partisan, he lost some, a little bit aggressively here and there, but he still held up quite a bit of a fight. Either been, yeah, he didn't do quite so well. I have the stats off. But anyways, he definitely took a lot more losses than kills. But, newer player, I don't fault him at all. Penguin guy definitely wasn't having a good time against me with the ATGMs. Furstenhoff definitely did good, and Infiltrator had a field day. But yeah, Milan 2s, killing 2 Wilks, that's definitely something. Killing the T-55, they killed so many vehicles, and even ended an Eric's when it was inside one of the XA-180s. Tiger 2 providing some good recon so that I can make sure I can see any kind of advance that the enemy might have. Flak Panther Gepard definitely helping me, and of course all of my infantry as well. Other Milan 2 just killing any vehicle that comes within their sight range. And this is, me I remind you, under constant artillery and napalm rocket barrages against our position. We just did so well at holding off the enemy force. Leopard 2A4 helping with that push. And the Canonian Yago Panzers just killing everything each. Each of these are 20 points. They're killing things that are roughly their price range or more expensive. So definitely made my money's worth there. 2A5 killing the T-72 M2 Wilk. Definitely excellent. And that Fallschirmjäger with his last stand holding off the enemy force. But yep, that was West Germany with Wargame Red Dragon. I'll release the other nations, do videos on them in the soon in the coming future. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.